get people on board and keep them engaged in distance learning? We will start with a student-centered approach and learning as social interaction. Then we will focus on social motivation and social presence as one of the components of the community of inquiry concept. We will give you a list of tips on how to make students socially present in the class and emphasize the meaning of a learning contract. At the end, we will give you some examples of icebreakers that help to build the community in online settings. A student-centered approach emphasizes the meaning of students' active involvement in the class. It focuses on multi-directional communication between students and the instructor, so the learners are able to construct and reconstruct their knowledge through discussion, reflection, and critical thinking. They should be intellectually and emotionally involved in the learning process, as well as have the chance for hands-on activity, so they work on projects or create new outputs as the result of their learning. The instructor acts as a designer of their activities and the facilitator of the process, directing the students and giving suitable feedback. The learning climate is based on trust, safe and open communication. Students cooperate within teams, create a bond and a feeling of group belonging. According to Vygotsky, learning is perceived as social interaction, where students learn from each other, sharing experience, knowledge and skills. Students' involvement and learning through social interaction is especially important in online settings, where they are physically apart and non-verbal communication is rather limited. Because of this, the instructor should be more careful arranging and triggering interaction also concerning social aspects. Students have different goals and motivation to study. Some of them engage in the course because of external rewards, such as grades, recognition, or the approval of others. There are also students who engage in learning as they value the activity itself. They enjoy learning and are curious about a given topic. Some students are motivated by peers and they want to build relationships with others. They want to spend time together and to get to know one another. That's social motivation, which helps get people on board as well as keep them engaged. It may trigger students' engagement in the class, so students will be more eager to interact if they like each other. Social motivation seems to be important, not only from a social point of view, but also from a cognitive perspective, as it fosters elaboration, provides opportunity to discuss the topic, explore different options, and to negotiate the meaning of given phenomena. When designing an online environment, it's crucial to think about how to allow students to be socially present in the class. Social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence are independent components of the community of inquiry concept that was applied in online and blended teaching at the end of the 1990s. The class of students is perceived as an inquiry community that is asking questions, considering specific problems, looking for answers, exploring various problem-solving techniques. Community of inquiry emphasizes the need for cooperation as well as a process of individual meaning construction of an educational experience. Both the individual, personal reflection of a learner and the shared group discourse are important. Community of inquiry is seen as a theoretical model that describes the process of a student's meaningful and deep learning experience. We are going to focus on social presence as the factor that is especially important to take care of in online settings. Social presence is defined as the ability of learners to be emotionally connected and involved in online interaction. Students and instructors are able to build relations and create a bond within a group, despite the limitations of non-verbal communication and the use of synchronous and asynchronous format. Social presence means a sense of group belonging, open communication and expressing emotion with a feeling of trust and safety. It is worth noting that building online relationships is more time-consuming and requires additional effort from both parties. It is usually a challenge for the instructor, who should ensure an open, trust-based relationship from the very beginning of the class. The area of social presence seems to be crucial for setting the climate for more sophisticated discussions and debates. Safety and trust within social interaction foster openness in the discourse and cognitive presence. Here follows a list of tips for the instructor to create social presence in the class. Create the conditions and opportunities for students to get to know each other and build relationships also with you. For example, provide a space where students can introduce themselves using different message formats, such as text, photos, or videos. Communicate the need to get to know each other and the need for social interaction. Make a learning contract with students. Discuss with students the similarities and differences of on-site and online learning. Emphasize the importance of engagement in both modes. Inform students about the assessment of their involvement in the class. Discuss the course requirements and students' responsibilities. Create a list of frequently asked questions and answers regarding technical and course design issues. Create a separate forum for social interaction and encourage students' involvement in building relationships. Let students moderate the discussion by themselves. Use synchronous and asynchronous communication tools to support multi-directional interaction among participants. Be present online as a real live person who is emotionally involved in the process. A student-centered approach means that students are engaged in each stage of the learning process, and their expiations, opinions and will is taken into account by the instructor. A learning contract is perceived as a set of rules and norms for communication and learning. It should be co-created by the instructor and the students, so they present their expectations and needs as well as the course goals. It helps to clarify the ways of learning and make the expectations more transparent for both sides. As an online format differs from face-to-face classes, it is especially important to discuss and explain how we envisage the learning process and class participation. It should be done in a non-autocratic way so all students and the instructor can bring ideas and finally agree on them. The instructor could ask questions such as, "What do you need to feel good in the class? How do you want to learn and progress? How do we want to communicate? What do we need to build cooperative teams? How are we going to share knowledge?" To create a learning contract, the instructor can use collaborative writing tools like MS Teams, Google Docs, Jamboard or Padlet. A learning contract is active, and the instructor as well as the students can refer to it at any time. They can also change or reformulate some rules if needed. Virtual icebreakers are quick activities devoted to online team building. They help learners to connect with one another on a personal level during online meetings. It's a great way for team members to get to know each other better and to break from the monotony of the class. Icebreakers are good for students who have just met in the class, as well as for those who already know each other. They help people to open up, be creative and have some fun during the class. They bring energy and boost positive spirit. The instructor can use icebreaker activities for different reasons. They are especially important at the beginning, when students are introducing themselves, but also during and at the end of the class. Students should find the object in their room, which describes their interests, hobbies or personality. Everybody should present something, so the others can learn more about the participants. They can also take a photo of something interesting in the room and show it to others, or just select one of the photos in their mobile they took recently. The students can also upload the photos to the board using, for example, Jamboard or Padlet. Students are divided into teams, each of which contains a few members. They can talk to each other in breakout rooms and find all the interesting things they all have in common. Not obvious, of course. They can use sticky notes or just make a presentation using tools like Linoit, Jamboard, Padlet or Miro. Students can find an Indian name that would describe their personality, hobbies or interests. They can share their nicknames within the team. Students choose one of the topics, or they are given a topic by the instructor. They can create a story with each student adding a sentence at a time. The activity is very creative, is fun, and could release tension when students are tired or bored. Students are asked at the end of the class, "What treasure are you taking with you?" Just present one word or one sentence.